This one because it's going to get quite cold tomorrow. We do have a storm system moving in, but it's really going to be during the morning, early afternoon. That snow will carry on through the region, will start to dry out. Can't rule out a few flurries, but the big story for tomorrow's game will be the drop in temperatures into the 20s and wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. So that will create wind chills in the teens. It will feel like it's in the teens tomorrow at kickoff. So brace for that, as well as the gusty winds. Here's the next system that we are tracking back to the south and west as we head overnight, increasing clouds, and then by about 4 or 5 a.m. a mix of rain and snow beginning to cross over I-39. Pausing this at 8 a.m. there you can see some snow showers to the north, a rain snow mix to the south. This won't be a big event, and like I said, out in time mainly for game and kickoff, but we do have to contend with the cooler temperatures. We'll talk about that full weekend forecast in a few minutes, guys. Chicago, really impressive for January standards. Some areas picking upwards of 2.5 inches of rainfall, and just to put this all into perspective, yesterday at O'Hare, we recorded close to 2 inches of rain. That is the third wettest January day on record. Third wettest January day. That is a lot of rain in a short amount of time. In fact, our average precipitation combining liquid and snow for the month of January is 1.99 inches, and we received that all in the form of rain in one day yesterday. The daily record before yesterday was closer to about 1 inch of rainfall set back in 1935 there. In addition, very mild temps. A record high today, 60 degrees, tying the old record back in 1880 of 60 degrees. So just an impressive storm system that moved on through. Tonight we catch a little bit of a break before the next system moves in early tomorrow. Right now we are down to 43 degrees from 60 degrees earlier today. To Calb, you're in the 30s, some of you still in the mid 40s. If you are heading to Soldier Field tomorrow night, I just want to stress, dress accordingly. Chicago, bear down weather. Temperatures will be dropping through the evening. We're losing that sunlight as well. Not really going to have a whole lot of it either with the storm system pushing on through. Temperatures will be dropping into the 20s. However, winds will be gusty up to about 20 to 30 miles per hour during this game. So I know temperatures look like they're close to freezing. It's going to feel like it's in the teens for this entire game with those gusty winds, and when it's windy it just hits harder, right? So plan accordingly. Plenty of layers, hand warmers, feet warmers, you know the drill. Satellite and radar currently we are quiet. This is the next system that's moving in, and it's not a big system, and it's really going to move through quickly tomorrow morning. A lot of the precip will be out in time for the game. So 5:30 tomorrow morning, a mix of rain and snow along and south of I-80 is where we'll allow for that mix of rain and snow, and then farther to the north, some scattered snow showers to kick off our Saturday morning. This will be a quick hitting system. Scattered snow lingering throughout the morning, early afternoon, and then you can see it exiting. We begin to clear out as well. Notice those winds going up close to 30 miles per hour, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, where we are mostly dry. We can't rule out a passing flurry or isolated snow shower moving on through parts of the region as we go into the evening. But anything that falls or flies in terms of snow tomorrow night, it will be rather light and not going to accumulate. Before we get to that kickoff time, we could get a dusting up to an inch, a max of snow in a few isolated spots. It is not a big snow, but if anyone's traveling early tomorrow, if you're heading downtown early for tailgate, plan on some snow early on, and then very cold conditions. Notice these winds continuing to stay gusty, 25, 35 miles per hour throughout the entire day tomorrow. And again, what it's going to feel like, those winds will do a number on the temperatures by 9 o'clock tomorrow night. It feels like it's in the single digits to the teens. So very cold conditions on the way. For tonight, we're looking at those temperatures dropping into the 30s, increasing clouds for this evening, and then some rain, snow kicking off early tomorrow morning by about 5, 6 a.m. And then we'll quickly move on through. By Sunday, gradual clearing, but colder, a high of 32. We're back into the 40s. Precipitation possible Tuesday and Wednesday. It is very important. Game day, bear down. You're going to need the layers. Temperatures will be dropping through the day tomorrow, and we were just near 60 degrees a few hours ago. Down into the 40s here. Temperatures tomorrow at about kickoff, we're looking at upper 20s, low 30s, but it's going to feel a lot colder with gusty winds upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour during this game. It will create wind chills in the teens, so plan accordingly. We're also looking at a rain snow mix to be moving in to impact part of the day tomorrow. We're dry overnight, and it's really early tomorrow after about 4 or 5 in the morning that we'll start to see this precipitation spread in. Snow to the north of I-80, to the south a little bit a mix of some rain and snow. But this is quick moving and out by about 1 in the afternoon. We can't rule out passing flurry for the game, but mainly dry, just cold. Temperatures next week up and down. We'll show you the full 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes, guys. Miles per hour. It was a rainy January evening. Some of you picking upwards of 2.5 inches of rainfall. This is so impressive for this time of the year. In fact, yesterday at O'Hare, we picked up close to 2 inches, but making it the third wettest January day on record for us. The average precipitation for January is 1.99 inches, close to 2 inches, and we received this in just 1 day of liquid rainfall. This is very rare to happen in the Chicago area. Typically, we're tracking the cold and the snow. The previous record closer to about an inch, so back in 1935, and today, early on, closer to about midnight, we did tie the record high of 60 degrees, the average high 32 degrees. Now the big change is on the way as we head into our weekend with much colder weather on tap. Right now we're down to 43 from 60 earlier, 30s and 40s here across the board right now. If you're heading to Soldier Field tomorrow night, it is going to feel so different than today as temperatures will be going down, dropping into the 20s. You look at 29, 32, not bad. This is Chicago, but it's going to be very windy. Gusts up to about 30, 35 miles per hour, perhaps some isolated wind gusts even a little bit higher. So that's going to create a chill. We know here in Chicago, when it's windy, it just hits harder. It's going to feel like it's in the teens at Soldier Field tomorrow night for kickoff. In the teens. So plenty of layers and ways to stay warm. The good news is that the storm system we're tracking that will be moving in overnight and early tomorrow will be moving in and out rather quickly, and we're looking at dry weather for the game pretty much. So tomorrow morning, I pause us between about 5 and 6:30 in the morning. There you can see some rain and snow beginning to spread in. So we start tomorrow with some scattered snow flying around north of I-80. South of I-80, a mix of rain and snow. So wet snow here expected. Little accumulation out of this system, a dusting up to about a ½ an inch possible. By about noon, the bulk of this is moving off to the east. We start to dry it out area wide. We could have a few lingering isolated flurries into the evening, but again, temperatures going down into the 20s, winds 20, 30 miles per hour. It will feel like it's in the teens. Here's a look at that snowcast. Any accumulating snow mainly north of I-80, a dusting up to about a ½ an inch. An isolated spot could get a quick 1 inch of snowfall out of this, and winds picking up throughout the day tomorrow. We're looking at those gusts again, 25, 35 miles per hour sustained through our Saturday into Sunday as well, looking rather windy. And that wind chill will be a factor here. Tomorrow evening, it's going to feel like it's dropping into the single digits and teens. So dress accordingly. Plenty of layers, colder weather on our Sunday, but thankfully we will get some sunshine back in place for Sunday, so we'll brighten it up. And come Monday, we're looking at high temperatures near 40 degrees. But all in all, winning forecast, right? Tonight, down into the 30s. It's going to be chilly. Tomorrow morning, we start off with the rain and snow scattered about. We start to dry out during the afternoon, evening with a flurry threat. By Sunday, we're looking dry, a little bit windy, 40s Monday and Tuesday, and then some for the middle to the end of next week, guys. We're tracking this weather closely as we are tracking snow and rain moving in to kick off the weekend. But by kick off, we start to dry out. 7 p.m. temp at 32 degrees. Can't rule out a few flurries, but we're not looking at any heavy precipitation. The one factor here will be the gusty winds. We'll have winds tomorrow, gusty up to about 30, 35 miles per hour during the afternoon, and then coming down during the game, but still it will remain windy with wind chills dropping into the teens. That is what it's going to feel like at Soldier Field tomorrow night. So you need lots of layers, ways to stay warm, hand warmers, feet warmers, bear down weather. We are ready for this. You can see the system back to the west. We're looking at that rain and snow to move in very early tomorrow along and south of I-80, starting as a rain-snow mix to the north. Here's that scattered snow, but this is a quick moving system, not anticipating a whole lot of snow. We'll time this out when it officially exits the Saturday night forecast into Sunday when we get the sunshine back, and next week as well, all coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right.
Far from our high temperature today, which was basically clocked closer to about midnight, 60 degrees, tying the previous record set back in 1880. The average high 32. We are much cooler now as temperatures have been dropping through the day, through the afternoon. Outside right now, we sit at 41 degrees, and it will be even colder as we head into the day tomorrow. Woodstock, you're down to 36, Waukegan 37, Peatone right now 41 degrees. If you're heading to Soldier Field, it's pretty much all anyone is talking about. You will be feeling the chill. It is bear down weather, that is for sure, so we'll call it a winning forecast. Temperature's not looking too bad, near freezing. However, the biggest issue tomorrow night will be the winds. It will be rather windy with gusts up to about 20 to 30 miles per hour during this game. So there could be some impacts on the field, especially with the kicking game. We'll be monitoring that. But wind chills, what it will feel like in the teens. When we look at that kickoff temp of 32, it will feel more like 20 and then continue to drop into the teens in terms of that real feel outside. So dress in all of the layers, ways to stay warm. We got this though. Satellite and radar showing some clouds to the south. This is the system we're keeping our eyes on overnight into early tomorrow with the rain and snow that will be moving in. This will be a quick hitting system and bringing us some rather light precipitation. But if you're heading out and about early on between about 5 and 7 a.m., you can see along and south of I-80, we're looking at a rain snow mix. North of I-80, this will be primarily all scattered snow showers, and the heaviest of any snow, the most widespread snow, will be falling during the early morning. By about 8 and 9 a.m., continue to work its way to the east, 10:30, 11 a.m., northwest Indiana, and then this system exits off to the east. Temperatures will be dropping into the 20s as we head into the evening. The possibilities of a few passing isolated flurries not out of the question tomorrow night, but anything that falls during the evening will be light and scattered and quickly move on through. Notice those wind gusts though Saturday night up to about 30 miles per hour. Snowcast, not a big system, but a dusting up to an inch possible north of I-80. The farther south you are, little to no snow accumulation expected. Winds going up though throughout Saturday afternoon, evening, even into early Sunday. Those gusts steady at about 15 to 25 miles per hour and at times reaching closer to about 30 miles per hour. When we have winds that high, that really does impact what it feels like outside. So I pause this at 8:30 tomorrow night. It feels like it is in the teens. So it will be quite chilly out there. For tonight, we're dropping off into the 30s with some scattered snow moving in early tomorrow with rain snow to the south. We dry out on our Sunday, 32 degrees there, 40 looking gorgeous on Monday for the middle of next week, guys. Go Bears.
Bundle up, Bears.